We got another look today at just how the world's airlines are going to handle the recovery and the reopening, and it makes for grim reading. And some of the world's largest airlines announced, for example, American Airlines said it plans to lay off 30% of its staff. It's mainly managerial and executive staff at the moment. The voluntary exits and layoffs. Delta plans something similar. In the UK, EasyJet is also cutting 30% of its staff, and it says it hopes to start meaningful flying in June. Excuse me. The drastic decline in air travel resulted the number of planes in long-term storage. These pictures are quite dramatic. I've been to airline graveyards before, where you see planes that'll never fly again. Now out in Tucson, Arizona, these are modern planes that would be expected. Some will go off to the graveyard, but some will go back again. This is where they had to park their planes. Robin Hayes is the chief executive of JetBlue. He joins me now. Robin, thank you. Sketch out for me, if you will, how you view JetBlue reopening and rebuilding to the point where, by the end of the year, you'll be 35% of your capacity, usual capacity?
Hi, Richard. Thanks for having me on the show. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Look, I think it's too early for us to know that. I mean, what I do know is that when I look at our geography, we are 70% US domestic. And when I look at the international travel that we have, it's very close to the US. And we are predominantly leisure than business. All of those things lead me to believe that we may recover more quickly than most. Having said that, there's no doubt we're going to be a smaller airline than we were as we get into the last quarter of this year.
What about the September deadline in the CARES Act? There is a feeling that until September, no compulsory layoffs. There's a whole range of restrictions within that you can't do before September, which does beg the question, whether at JetBlue or industry-wide, do you think that's when the gloves come off in September, there will be wholesale layoffs, compulsory layoffs?
Well, I think the good thing, the CARES Act has been so terrific for the US airline industry. We're extremely lucky, and really was a great example of the administration working with Congress to give the US industry some breathing room. As you said, we can't do any involuntary furloughs until the end of September. And I think the good thing about that, it buys us time, first of all, to get a better handle on what we think is going to happen to demand, and secondly, to see how many of our crew members are interested in voluntary programs. I mean, to give you a sense of the size, at JetBlue, we've had about 60% of our crew members interested who have taken some form of voluntary time off over the summer. And so, we continue to believe that there's going to be quite a bit of interest once we get to October for many of our people to kind of continue to take voluntary time off.
Robin, I just want to try and give our viewers a real feel for just what the airline industry in the US is like at the moment. How much is it costing? How much are you losing per day at the moment, would you estimate?
So, no, it's a good question. I mean, we actually update on our last earnings call, which was the end of April. We shared that our cash burn at the moment is about $10 million a month. So we came into this with the second best balance sheet in the US. We had a lot of cash. But no business can survive that amount of cash burn indefinitely. And so, we've been working very hard to bring that cash burn down. We think we're on a trajectory to bring that down further as we go into Q3, but it's still a significant amount of additional debt that we are taking on over time.
Fortuitously, you are sitting in front of a poster that says London.
Now, I am.
I'm not surprised that you have put your London launch. Well, would you say it's on the back burner or it's back in the cupboard?
No, we still plan to start going to London in 2021, Richard. You know better than most how extortionate the fares can be to fly between the UK and US. So we think we can have a hugely positive impact in bringing down the fares. We're probably going to time it now to be later in 21 rather than earlier, because we think that's going to coincide better with where we think that we're going to start seeing some recovery in the transatlantic market. So we're still coming, and we look forward to bringing you and everyone else much lower fares.
All right, if you'll be on the inaugural flight, then so will I.
Let's do it.
Looking forward to being on that flight. Robin,
I'm going to...
These are difficult times. Oh, yeah, I can see. Middle seat near the back. I can feel that coming on already. But don't worry, I'll be on it. And hopefully, obviously, you will be too. Robin Hayes, good to have you with us. Thank you, Robin Hayes.
Thank you, Richard.